to the Access Due Diligence here. This is kind of like a serious video because I don't really want any governmental agency to see my face in this video. We're probably gonna take this down in about 48 to 72 hours because I really don't want to get in trouble. But a lot of you have no idea what is going on, especially when an IPO comes to America, especially they're from the Chinese market, and there's a lot of politically sensitive prospects here, and I would just want to sort of guide you guys through what really went on in this DiDi incident. And if you just want to look at the price movement, there's really nothing to look at because first day IPO comes out, second day it always whips down a little bit, right? This is like heuristic from the US market, like literally, and you will see probably on the third day it will probably go up, but that's not true in this case, right? And then why? A lot of people accredit it to the Chinese crackdown on cybersecurity in terms because it's all about hosting data and all this kind of stuff. But in reality, that's actually not true. So if you go on a Chinese website or any credible news source, because obviously you guys don't read Chinese, so I can translate to you guys. So essentially what this paragraph is talking to you about, it's very brief also. Like if a crackdown is this brief, there's something political going on here. And I'm going to name this video DiDi Political Sacrifice. And for those of you who invested in early, if you invested in pre-IPO price, it's okay. It's probably going to rebound back. Because it's basically whenever the Chinese government sort of scares off a app to go out of any app market, it's basically like a warning sign, okay? And then let me translate this. So basically on July 4th, the Internet Bureau, the Bureau of Internet in China are saying they have sufficient evidence to sort of conclude that DiDi, which is basically the Uber of China, or more like the Uber of Asia in this case, because they also own certain stakes in other Uber-like facilities or Uber-like apps in the entire Asian market. And then the reason why is actually might be a better investment than Uber is because oil prices actually is making Uber struggle nowadays, because due to the oil price increase, you probably will see less people go on and call for Uber, because if you look at Uber's price chart right now, it goes through the roof, right? Because if you just own your own car and you go drive, like oil price, you take it on like by yourself. But if you are driving via Uber, in order to make the driver profitable, in order to make Uber itself profitable, essentially you're taking a premium on taking an Uber out. But for people like me, who's pretty lazy and who still need to get their licenses, we're forced to take Uber. So anyways, it's pretty elastic, but for majority of the market, you guys are not like me, and for people who are like me in my situation, it's like less than 10% of what is going on there, okay? But in China, it's different, because in China's bigger cities, due to pollution regulation and due to there's a law called regulating traffic regulation. The direct translation sound like that, but it's a little bit more complicated. So basically, in order to drive a car in China, you guys have to buy a license plate, okay? And in order to buy a license plate, you have to sort of go into an auction war with whoever wants a license plate. And a license plate just functions as a financial instrument. You can trade it online, and you can trade it like have its own market, okay? But because it's like every other government agencies, like it's controlled by a bureau of DMV, but it's not really the DMV that controls it. So they make that revenue, and then they take the revenue into taxes and all these shenanigans, just like the U.S. market, right? But you have to know is, even if you buy the license plate, in certain cities there are rules. Like if your license plate ends with an even number, you can drive on certain days, and if your license plate ends with an odd number, you can drive on certain days. So that means for those of you who live very far away from work, DiDi is like your only option to work, okay? And according to survey and according to company data, a lot of people, especially the middle class or upper middle class, uses DiDi to go to places, okay? For example, if you want to go out, right? You don't want to, of course, you don't really want to drive under influences. That's very, very bad, okay? So for those of you guys who decide to drink, please take an Uber to wherever you want to go, and please take an Uber back, because we really care about the safety of other people. But anyways, let's go back to this situation. So essentially what it's saying is, DiDi becomes a national security issue, okay? But in reality, it's not really a national security issue. It's more of like a transfer of control issue. Okay, on the surface, what they're gonna do is they can market it as it's sort of it's gonna violate the Chinese national internet law, not international law. It's gonna violate the CCP international security law, which just says they have to host data within the native country of this app, which in this case in mainland China, which they are, right? But the interesting part is the Chinese government suspect that DiDi is gonna sort of sell their data overseas, or at least they're saying that they're gonna sell their data overseas, or because they're filing their stuff to the SEC, therefore this become a national security issue because during those transactions maybe some of those data is gonna get leaked or something like that. But in reality, it's not really that issue. Okay, I am gonna say this, and I'm gonna take this video down in case one of you actually works for a secret agent or work for the FBI or CIA or the CIA of Asia or CIA of China. So, all right, let's take a moment of silence because I have to say it. This is completely political, because if you look at the trajectory of Alibaba, for a company like Alibaba, who basically do their principal business in Asia or in China, and they decide to go to America to do their IPO, that means a lot of capitals are not controlled by the country anymore, not controlled by CCP anymore. So if CCP doesn't have sole control of the capital, that means they do not have sole control of the company. And due to the non-democratic nature of the political system, it's really hard to really control your entrepreneurs, especially the tech entrepreneurs, when they have a lot of money and they decided to go overseas. And for those of you who are in a bigger country or in the US, you're like, it doesn't matter, guys, everybody's free. But in reality, as a government, you're trying to sort of contract all your wealth in one place, especially when the political agenda of CCP is to internationalize RMB, which is the US currency equivalent in China, right? And one of the things that they want to achieve is by letting oil to be counted under RMB with US dollar, or use RMB instead of US dollars. In order to do that, they need a huge amount of capital within the country itself, so then it can create quote unquote more credit. Okay, so any currency needs credit to run, and any credit needs a huge amount of wealth to be backed up, right? And then for those IPOs like DiDi, which already have a huge Chinese market cap, and if they decided to move their sort of like a principal listing to the US, it proposed a transfer of control issue. Because as you know, during the Trump administration, a lot of those companies who has a huge Chinese government stake, they got delisted or they just got kicked out, like Huawei, right? But in this case, DiDi actually doesn't have a lot of Chinese ownership in terms of like the Chinese government ownership. We're not counting Tencent, because Tencent also recently run into the government trying to take over some shares, and they don't really agree, and then you see the stock price actually plummeted a little bit. But due to their political liaison and due to their actual market connection, because they're already too big, right? So for the government to crack them down, they need more time. So then you will have a temporary correction, and then you will see some interesting crackdowns, quote unquote crackdowns going on. But for DiDi, it's still a very early company, and not to mention that there's actually some interesting conflict of interest or power conflict of interest in between the Chinese government and SoftBank itself, due to the previous Alibaba ruling or Alibaba situation back in when Alibaba was doing IPO. So this entire issue is a power play. It's a political play, and it's a total power play. And for those of you who are clicking on this video because you don't know what the fuck is going on, this is exactly what the fuck is going on. And if you guys are trying to figure out where this price is going to go, let's just say if you're in this for a long run, probably it's going to go back, right? Same thing with Uber. It's probably going to, like, the first week is going to go up a little bit, and then the second week is going up a little bit, and then it's going to plummet because they realize that Uber is actually not really making money. But for DiDi, they're actually making money, okay? This is what I can tell you, is they're actually making money. And they don't really have any subsidies. One of the reasons that Uber really want to push for electric cars is because they look at the data for DiDi. Because the reason why DiDi becomes more profitable in the long run is because the government pushes the electric car agenda, which makes the longevity of these sort of Uber-like apps longer, and it can save the cost for all these people who are driving, the drivers for Uber or DiDi, right? Because if you have electric cars, you will know, according to data, that if you drive the electric cars is going to be it's going to be more economic and more efficient when you drive long distance, and for those drivers, they drive long distance, and it's going to be significantly cheaper than an oil run car. So is DiDi going to go to $20? Possibly in the next months. But if this crackdown continues, right? If this crackdown continues, and then the DiDi app cannot go back on the app, the longer the DiDi app cannot go back on the app, the bigger of a loss this company is gonna endure. And then the longer you have to hold DiDi in order to break even, sort of, if you bought it at the IPO starting price. But anyways, this is, if I got killed if I got killed or got missing in the next week or maybe in the next year, because you never know how powerful the CCP is. You guys know who killed me, and perhaps spread my news in social media or something like that, right? But in this case, I think we're just gonna take down this video in 72 hours, and hopefully you guys can get what I'm trying to say here. I'm a little bit nervous when I'm making this video, unlike my other videos, because I know other videos I'm not really gonna get into that much of trouble unless I get to 100k subs. But for this video, because I showed some Chinese websites and it's pretty bad, so I'm just close them right now. But yeah, anyways, sub if you haven't, right? And please smash a like button to beat the YouTube algorithm, even though we're probably gonna take this down in 72 hours. But we still love to see likes. Alright, see you guys on the upside. And remember, our daily MMNT video is probably going to come a little bit late today because I have to pack. I'm leaving for LA in a couple of days. And the AMC video is still in the making. And sort of like there's a dilemma because I don't really want to confront other streamers or YouTubers in terms of what they're talking about in AMC. Because in AMC, there's a huge interesting factor in there is you have a lot of option holders and you have a lot of stockholders. And then in order for the squeeze to really appear, you need the stockholders to hold, and you need the option holders to reinvest their option money into the sort of a stockholder situation here, okay? And in order for that to happen, it probably won't happen because after my next AMC video, you'll understand that the hedge funds probably already achieved their stage 1 or phase 1. But anyways, nobody really talking about it, so I gotta let it out to let you guys know. Because one of the reasons you sub to my content and it can endure all my gibberish and all my rambles is because I talk about stuff that nobody talks about, right? Alright, see you guys on the upside.